Felix here, and welcome to this pre-market live stream. I want to walk you through what is rallying today. We're seeing all these gap ups, some of our favorite stocks today, and then answer why. And at the same time, hedge funds are actually selling. They have very, very different ideas to you and me. I'll share with my screen. Pretty extraordinary, wouldn't you say? We also today have new mics, which hopefully makes the audio much, much nicer. No audio, seriously? Oh, you guys are kidding me, aren't you? It works on my end. We lost sound when you switched screens. Okay. That was entirely my fault there. Okay, apologize for that. All right, let me run you through it again. So I want to walk you through what is rallying today, all the gaps ups today. We're back. I pressed the wrong button entirely, me. Why are we rallying? Because that's always good to understand. You always think like, well, why is the market going up or down? Well, in the next few minutes, you'll understand that. And then you'll understand why hedge funds are doing something very different and what you can learn from that. Why the real rally is starting on a slightly later date than today, and I'll show you what the date is. And then for those of you who might be concerned, is there a recession? If you read mainstream media, they're all worried about recessions and so on. And I want to give you just one piece of data there that I think will answer that question for you. And we're also going to get a bailout. The stock market is going to get a bailout. We don't need a crash, but it's coming anyway. And I'll give you the amount and the dates, and then somebody out there has just sold $16 trillion in US stocks. I think you might want to understand that because that's probably the most important data point we've got right now as investors or traders. It doesn't really matter which you are. It's basically all the same. So sound is clear and crisp. Brilliant. Okay, we've got a nice big shiny new microphone here, and we're going to keep this one as long as Winston doesn't eat it. No crackling at all. Lovely. Amazing. No more, what is it called? SMTR or whatever, what's that thing? ASMR. No more ASMR on this channel. So shall we get cracking? If you want me to get cracking, write cracking in the chat, and we'll get straight into it. Make audio great again. Exactly. Yeah, I had some lovely chaps in here today who are lighting and sound guys, and they did a very good job, I hope. Perfecto. Brilliant. George just writing cracking, which slightly scared me because people used to write out when the sound sucks. So nice. All right. Brilliant, guys. So shall we get straight into it? I think we probably should, right? So let me show you the first of 7 key points here. But before I do, I just want to show you the market, actually. Look at that here. This is a screenshot I took of the S&P, and this is where we closed on Friday. What happened to the pen? All we need now is a pen. Cracking sound. Brilliant. That was where we closed on Friday. We're trading here right now. That, my friends, is known as a gap up, which is a beautiful thing, the most beautiful pattern that you could ever see in the market. I've been listening to too much Donald J. Trump. The last time we had such a beautiful pattern was here, which was, what was that? Early 2025, sort of January 15th or so. And the previous one was when the orange one got elected in November, right? And that's the NASDAQ, the S&P rather. And if you look at the NASDAQ, similar story, and these are screenshots from Trade Vision. I'll show you the live thing in a second as well. And what's important here? Well, not only do we see a gap up, but we're also breaking through the resistance, which was sitting at $485, which is a proprietary indicator that we have where we add up all the positions from all the hedge fund bastards out there, the lovely people who make the market work. Yeah, those people. And we tell you where they're going to sell. They're going to sell at 485. But so far, we're above this level, and that's really, really important. And then if you look at some of our favorites here, Palantir is gapping up. Can you see that here? Which is good. And that's actually one of the more positive charts, Palantir here, because we're actually gapping up above the 50-day moving average line. If you look at, say, NVIDIA, also gapping up here, but watch out. The 50-day moving average line is really, really, really far overhead. So don't get too excited about that one. Amazon also gapping up here very nicely, 2% up this morning. Pre-market at $200 and a few cents. So really, really nice moves here. But again, the 50-day is sitting at 218. And I'll explain that to you in a bit more detail in a few minutes. That is not necessarily where you want to buy. It's certainly not the safe spot. So pre-market here, this is how it looks. It looks green and bushy-eyed and wonderful. And it's just Tesla's up 4%, Nvidia 2%, the big tech stocks up, Meta up 2.8%. Glorious, isn't it? Absolutely glorious. If you think this is glorious, write glorious in the chat. So I know that you're finding this as glorious as me. And let me walk you through some of the key stuff here. So why is this happening? Well, of course it is Trump's fault. Mark's joining us with some parking jokes. Good morning, Mark. That includes, so here, basically, we are now expecting next Tuesday, April the 2nd, which is, according to the orange one, the most glorious day in the history of the country, because he's called it Freedom Day, I think, something like that. Basically, he's going to announce tariffs on the rest of the world. But is retreated from this global across-the-board tariff rate for everybody. Why? Because every donor and every major American company has been up in arms and going, don't do that. That's just don't. And he's therefore going to put tariffs on probably the worst offenders. We would imagine it would be the Soviet Union, the European Union. Easy to mix those two up really nowadays. Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Canada, India, and China, as Trump says. And so they're gonna bear the brunt of it. But again, it's probably not going to be like blanket. It'll be certain industries and certain things. And it just means it won't be as bad as people had feared. And that's a good thing, right? The market kind of looks at it that way. Liberation Day, is that what it is? Liberation Day, yes. From the yoke of the apparatchiks in Brussels, Canada, and Mexico, which is apparently to be renamed the bit south of the US. Now, why am I showing you a chart about hedge funds? Probably don't care about them, right? But very few people actually care about hedge funds. I mean, if you know some of them, they're all right. Usually not the most exciting people. No, some of them are actually quite fun. I know some of them, they're quite nice. But they are basically bearish. They're so bearish we couldn't afford the E or the end of more. They are very, very bearish. And they've been selling and selling and selling. And they're literally the most bearish that anyone's ever seen. A bunch of hedge funders. It's like, the Krug champagne has run out or something. That would make them very upset, at least the ones I know. So what does that say to you? Does that mean, therefore, we should be bearish? Does that mean we should be selling everything? Should we be worried? Well, if you understand hedge funds, they don't have conviction. They don't care whether the stock goes up or down. They just want to make money no matter what happens. That's just who they are. They're just pure, unadulterated capitalists of the 1980s. Greed is good breed. Sell you anything. They will sell their mother or anything, really, for a bit of profit. So they were bearish, not for some deeper spiritual meaning, but just because that's where they thought they could make the most money. And hey, they made some money, right? If they ran that 10% down, they made some money. So what does that therefore mean? Well, the likelihood of them selling more is smaller than the likelihood of them going higher. And it's a simple question of probabilities. Like, how often were we lower than this since 2020? 0% of the time. How often were we higher than this? 100% of the time. Now, there isn't a 100% guarantee that they're going to start buying, but it's definitely not 50-50, is it? Or even 55-50, they have their ways. So I'm obviously a bit of a contrarian. Everyone hates stuff. So, as Buffett says, when others are fearful, be greedy, could be a time to start getting very, very greedy. And here I promised you the date, the actual date when the market typically rebounds. Like Michael J. Fox. I love Michael J. Fox. I think he's one of the nicest, funniest actors out there. How many boats can you ski behind? What are you guys talking about? Water skiing, that is it? That's good fun, actually. It's about to become water skiing season here. And so when it gets too hot, we can't hike. So we basically just have to be on the water and burn to a crisp. I get shrimp sort of colored, sort of crimson colored within a space of about 30 seconds. What does this show you? This shows you in bleu, as the French say. This is now the S&P. It doesn't look too good, right? And then you've got above it, in that sort of gray, you've got normal. Right? Not the kind of normal that offends people, but, I'm not talking about what you identify as. I'm just saying normal market behavior, right? Apparently normal is something that's offensive to people now. How dare you call me a normal market? And when do we normally rebound? Well, we normally rebound on March 23rd, to be precise, which is, what's the day today? It's March, isn't it? It's March 24th. You see, so it should be today. I should have changed the headline. Market rebounds today. Massive rally incoming now. If you missed this video, it's all over. I should have just called it that, right? Did I? Probably did something fairly silly as that, didn't I? Titles are a silly thing on YouTube. So is this the point? Well, seasonals, which just means, and a lot of people track this, and therefore a lot of people look at this and they go, well, the chart says it should go up, therefore we should probably buy a little bit, right? Just to be sure. So, Nakamiro, I'm not normal. I don't think I'm normal either. Anybody think I'm normal? Put it in the chat. I won't be offended if you say not. So what's the conclusion when you see this? Well, I know what you're all thinking. You're all thinking, what if I miss the big rally, the big breakout, the biggest opportunity of 2025 that generations of investors will talk about for at least several days? Then you'd feel really bad about it, wouldn't you? And if I look at the poll here, most of you are worried about missing the next rally. 76% of you are worried about that, and only 24% of you are worried about the market crashing, which means you're either on some sort of substance or you're all optimists, which I like. Hopefully the latter, but I won't judge you for it. So what do we therefore do? We got to learn when do we buy? When do we buy these things that are rallying up? And I know people are always saying, oh, buy the dip, buy the bottom of the market. Well, it doesn't always work out so well, does it? Let me give you a lovely little example. Advanced money destroyer. People have been saying it's the bottom of the market there and here and there and here and there and here and there and here and there and right now. And that's been going on for a very, 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 very long time. So since the beginning of time, I feel. And they have lost in the process at 40% of their money since that started. But I could take you back a little further and could show you some more. People said this was the bottom, or that was the bottom, or this was the bottom, or they just got distracted by bottoms generally, which is understandable. So especially golden retriever bottoms or, pug bottoms are actually very cute. So here we go, 52% down you would be because you thought it was brilliant to buy at the alleged bottom. You only know that it's a bottom once it's all over. And therefore we use not some like finger in the wind sort of thing, or let's see how many YouTube videos are made on a particular stock, but the actual rules that the guys on Wall Street use. And you might think, well, I don't have the actual rules that those guys on Wall Street use, but I'm going to give them to you for free. The only thing is, you're going to have to actually watch the video, and you're going to have to actually take notes. And if you don't, it won't be very much use to you. So who's going to do that? He's going to learn the actual rules by going to felixprehn.com/get free. Leave this video right now. It's far more important to do that. Write get free in the chat, and we're getting some nice musical quotes in here. You know that my entire brain is basically musical quote mush, because that's how I learned English, you see. I listened to pop music, and that was sort of mid to late 90s. So my entire brain is literally that. Your other brothers can't deny, indeed. That's literally all that's going on there. So PJB, I like that. He says, nobody here is normal. We're all learning to be much better than normal. And I like that a lot. I like that a lot, my friend. And that's really honestly what it's all about. I always say to people, and Brian and Dave and Mike here, they're going to get free, and Richard. So they are taking the action steps to become, paranormal. And, you can have an average life, and a lot of people are afraid of having more than average. But if you sort of deep down inside talk to yourself, I think you'll find that you actually want more, don't you? Don't you want more? Who wants more? Write more in the chat if you want more. I think everybody wants more. I've had quite a few billionaire friends. They always want more. It's just, you could call it greed, or you could just call it ambition, or just not wanting to die, really. So, all right, so will the sentiment therefore snap back after today? Well, when we have sentiment collapsing, and you've been in this for a little longer, then you actually rejoice. You start singing, Gloria and that sort of thing, because, well, the sentiment is pretty low. 2020, that one there, which was similarly low. Now, that was COVID, right? We were told we were all going to die, and vaccines would save us, which made 50 pharma billionaires we made in that period, which I'm sure was a complete coincidence. And they just wanted to save us. 2018, financial crisis. I haven't got 2008 on here, but you get the idea. What happens after you collapse every time in history? Well, you go back up, don't you? You go back up. Even after COVID, we went back up and we realized we weren't all going to die. And that farmer is a big, lying, stinking cesspit of corruption. Did I just say that? I'm sure I didn't mean farmer. It must be Tourette's or something here today. So let me then answer this one for you. Who is worried about a recession? Anyone worried about a recession? Put an R in the chat and tell me if you're worried about a recession. Or you recession warriors out there, put an R in the chat. Johannes, we'll have a look at Zim in a second, my friend. We'll have a look at all your favorite stocks in a second. No one worried about the recession? No, nobody at all? Well, okay. Mainstream media seems to think that you're all just awake at night and thinking there's going to be a recession. There are a few of you. It's possible. Well, there is something called the US Bankruptcy Index. How many bankruptcies are there in the US? And if you look at, this was 2008. This was when rating agencies screwed you royally by pretending, well, they said, you haven't got a job, you haven't got any money, brilliant. I'll give you a $500,000 loan, and then I'll package all those loans together, and we will say that they are AAA rated because there are lots of people in it. And nobody thought that was weird. Nobody ever asked the question who paid for it. And that gave us the global financial crisis, which was quite a fun time to make money if you were that way inclined. This was COVID. This was the little COVID recession blip. I mean, everybody got a check, so it was a little harder to go out of business there. Right now, we're here. It's actually going down. So at the moment, there would be no indicator that there is actually a recession, because a recession would make businesses go out of business, and they're not. So I'm not seeing a recession. I don't think there will be a recession. I just don't see it. There'll be fear-mongering to the highest degree, because that's a national sport, but I don't think there'll be a recession. Why do you keep disrespecting President Trump? People said that about the last guy too. They said I was very, very mean about the last El Presidente. Well, wait for this one here. And then people thought that I was a staunch Republican because I was making fun of Biden a lot. And now people are starting to come around to the idea that I'm not massively fond of politicians, generally speaking. I actually like quite a few things that Donald Trump is doing. I think the Doge thing, particularly, probably the only thing I would say I'm generally on board with. I'm a very, very tiny US taxpayer, so it's fairly relevant to me. But I hope that it'll just get rid of corruption all around the world. That's kind of my view. But, obviously people got strong opinions on that. This, on the other hand, seriously, what do you guys make of this? What do you think? What do you make of this? Is this, what's this about? Trump posts, I love Trump, is just the meme coin, also known as a shit coin. And he says it's the greatest of them all. And he pumped that not like a long time ago. No, just. You have a sitting president pumping his own meme coin. Two ways of looking at this. One, you could be just generally outraged, aghast. There is a stern word. Or you could be, well, if he's pumping his meme coin, it's fairly likely he's going to pump the market. So, to the moon. Yeah, whatever. I find it weird. I find it really weird. Like, if you want, we kind of want to take people somewhat seriously if they're in positions of power. This is a bit of a weird one. Richard, you loved my jibes at Biden. Well, let's see if you like my jibes at Trump too, because yeah, they go both ways. I mean, politicians are there to be made fun of, I always thought. Now, this is the bailout, and it doesn't come from the orange one. It doesn't come from the Fed. It comes from the market itself. Some of you own Trump. Some of you think it's disgraceful. So, better than pumping something else. Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. It's a free world. It's just an unusual world right now. This is JP Morgan, the most important investment bank in the world, according to JP Morgan. And they say, we estimate the potential equity buying. What do we say equity buying? Stocks, right? Stock buying from month-end rebalancing by mutual funds, as well as quarter-end balancing by US pension funds and mostly the Scandinavians, at around $135 billion. And I thought I saw that number the other day, so I was very glad that they sent this out. That's pretty tremendous. So towards the end of this month, which is pretty soon, last time I checked, this week, they're going to buy $135 billion of stocks. That's quite a lot. To give you an idea, buybacks, so, you know, when companies buy their own stocks, it's usually about $6 billion a day. So 135 billion is a lot of money. It's a huge amount of money. It's the most beautiful amount of money that anybody's ever seen, you know, that sort of amount of money. So this could be good, right? Run countries like businesses. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think countries should be run like businesses with a little bit of a social program, obviously. I think most of us would agree on. I think most people are actually socialists at the heart of them, because if you think that there should be social security, you're a socialist. I know it doesn't sound good, does it? But even I think there should be some social security. And I used to be a banker, you see, we are not exactly known for caring about the little guy. No, but I do, obviously. There should be a safety net. If you live in a wealthy country, people shouldn't be living on the street, right? You know, most people who live on the street, not just in the US, but everywhere, are veterans. And that's the real freaking scandal, right? So the people, we send them to war, we traumatize them, and then we just let them be addicted to drugs and sleep on the street. Like, that's a fucking disaster, isn't it? But yeah, no profit interest in fixing that one, apparently. Now, this is the biggest number that we're going to talk about today, and that's foreigners. Those bloody foreigners. They're selling stocks. How dare they? Selling American stocks. Now, I'm obviously a foreigner. Have I sold? I've probably sold a few things. Yes, I've sold a few things. But I don't know if I show up in this, but they literally sold $16 trillion of US stocks, which is almost as much as they sold during COVID, which is here, March. Actually, it's pretty much exactly the same amount. That's COVID. So it's a pretty large amount of selling. And it's very unusual for us to see a much larger amount of selling. So what do you therefore think? We should all go and buy German defense stocks, because that's always worked out well in history, hasn't it? Yay, let's arm the Germans. I'm German, by the way. Sorry about that. We just walk around the world apologizing, really. Mostly we should. But yeah, again, what is the likelihood? And that's really the way I would look at the market, is draw a line and say, how often were we lower? How often were we higher? And I mean, judging from that, we were lower probably about 2% of the time. And we were higher about 98% of the time. So the likelihood that those bleeding foreigners will start buying good American stocks again seems fairly high, especially if they go up a little bit, right? Our Frenchies had to sell too. Shell shock was no joke. No, exactly. I mean, of course, you see all that stuff. Of course, you're going to be shell shocked. More than that. LMK, my friend, you're on a mentorship program. Yeah, just talk to the coaches about VIX. It's not the super beginner friendly thing. We can definitely give you some guidance on it, but it's definitely not the first thing you want to be doing. You want to get consistent and comfortable with the more simple stuff before you get onto that. Now, for you, those of you guys who want to join our friend LMK here in our mentorship program, you actually don't have to. You can simply just consume the free masterclass and just learn when we actually buy. And we're going to look at some real life examples of that right now. If you wish, then we Germans use trade vision. Brilliant. Ben, there's another one here. A German with a British accent. I know. I'm just here to wind up the Brits, really. So yes, go and learn the rules, because once you know the rules, you see the patterns. Once you know the patterns, you make better decisions and you potentially make a heck of a lot more money. And that's the way it's worked out for me. I didn't make up the rules. I learned the rules from a bunch of old Wall Street traders who'd learned it from a bunch of even older Wall Street traders who learned it from mummies or something. So there is a rule book to investing and to trading. And I want to give it to you because I think you deserve it. Why do you deserve it? Well, I think you're a reasonably nice person. I've buttered up the audience. No, in all seriousness. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're listening to this, you want to learn, you want to get better. All the news in the world isn't going to make you a better investor. You need to understand the framework of what to do in what scenario. And that's what I want to give to you. So check it out. Colin says, over 30 people I live near now follow you, young and old, and just your channel. They love it. Colin, you are very, very kind. Thank you very much. You didn't tell them that I was German, right? That probably slipped your mind. Audio is still a little bit low. It's sort of at the upper end of the orange bit, in which I'm told by a sound engineer is the perfect spot for it to be. Maybe crank it up a little bit on your side. And thanks for the kind words there, guys. So on the masterclass note there, shall we look at some of our stocks out there? Fear index is coming down, which is nice at 18 or something like that. Palantir is gapping up, which looks good. Now this has the potential to become a breakout. The last breakout we had was up here, and this is in trade vision, right? So some of you are therefore, people look at this and they go, Felix, you gave us a dot signal. You told us to buy up here. I didn't tell you to buy up there, but it was an indicator that told you that it might be something you wish to consider, think about, discuss with your golden retriever. What's the problem? People buy up there and then they hold all the way down, right? And they call it hodling. And apparently it's glorious. Is it? Wouldn't it be much, much more fun if you buy here, which was at, say, $104, and that you then sell somewhere up here, let's be generous and put it down there, at $112, you would have made, call it 7% in a week, which is amazing, right? And now what would you do? You have, well, you have all that money and now you're buying the stock back potentially at a further, what, 10, 15% discount. So if it recovers, you might have made 20%. That's pretty good, right? That's actually how investing is meant to work. You're meant to be in it to make money, not to form lifelong relationships with stocks. So let's look at some of the other ones there, shall we? Zim, a lot of you guys are talking about. And if you watched the entire Zim video that I made about a week ago, I said to you, the setup isn't right. I like the fundamental story, but the setup isn't right. And I'm looking for the buy point. And I said to you, watch the masterclass, you learn when the buy point is. And I haven't bought it. And why have I not bought it? Because we have this yellow line here I'm drawing over, right? That's called the 50-day moving average line. You can toggle that on down here. If you go into Trade Vision, and I'll put the link on here for you, there's a week's free trial to Trade Vision. And you want to be above that. And you also want that line to slope up, not down. Down's bad. We're below it. So it's very, very important to learn those fundamental rules, because if you understand them, you have a much, much higher probability of picking winners, which is surely why you're all doing this, right? You want to make money. You don't just want to like lose money, right? Or hold on to stocks. So Zim is a volatile stock. I think they have exceptionally glorious numbers. I think there could be a nice rally in this, but the market has so far not realized it yet. So am I owning it? No, I'm not. I'm waiting for the moment when the market realizes it, and then I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to make money out of it. That's really the whole goal here. And then ex-dividend today, yeah, exactly. They pay a massive dividend, some extraordinary amount, and that might also impact the share price. Okay, my friends, let me see here. Okay, SoFi, I see there in the chat. Let's have a look at that while I pop some more electrolytes, which is kind of what I do to keep myself bright and alert. And what do you see here? What do you see here? Hold on there, my friend. Asking about 50 versus 150. Honestly, if you just go to Felix Prehn get free, you get the whole thing answered in one go, rather than me giving you little bits here and there. The market's just open, by the way, and SoFi is, well, it is gapping up, which is glorious. It's at $13.33, so it's continuing that upward trend. But where is the 50-day moving average line, which is sort of the moment when I start to consider buying stocks? It's still all the way up there, so it's still at least another $1 higher, and until we get to that point, I'm not buying it. Who's this nutter here? Redacted. He says, Felix' affinity for fascist politics has perverted his traits. I just watched to see him get angrier and angrier as he realizes democracies always outperform authoritarian regimes. My friend, you must be on the wrong channel, or you must have taken the wrong meds this morning or something. Although anger management is probably a good idea, which is what seems to be what you are suggesting. So you're very welcome here to go and vent your anger. I don't mind in the slightest. It amuses us. So let's have a look at some of the other ones out there. What have we got? ACHR. Who's an ACHR archer? Which is something I do like, but I got knocked out of the thing by my stop losses. Which obviously knocked us out of a lot of things. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at that. Why do I say, ooh, that's interesting? Like it is the most interesting thing in the world. Logan, yeah, I appreciate that. That little line there is, again, the 50-day moving average line. Now we're above it. That's a good thing, right? It's a glorious thing. Woohoo. But is it sloping up or down? Up or down? You can answer in the chat if you like, and obviously the answer is down. Well done, you. So we want to wait for that to start turning up again before we get excited. But Friday rather, was a nice big candle with nice big volume. So, we'll see what happens there. Redacted, my friend. Okay, you've been losing money, and that makes people angry in all of that. I get that. And then you want to run out and you want to go and point a finger at somebody and go a bit berserk. And maybe that's a good way to vent your frustrations. It's a safe space, my friend. Go nuts. So what else have we got out here? We looked at ACHR. Shall we look at some of the big boys? Maybe like a Tesla. Tesla is it's also gapping up 4% at 260. Not exactly like where we started, but again, 50-day moving average line is up here at 330. That's a $70 gap. So it's got a long way to go before that recovers. What else have we got? SMCI. SMCI. Is that up? Yes. No, it's not. It's actually down. It's down 4%. That doesn't look too amazing, does it? Why is that? No idea. So yeah. What else have we got? We've got NVDA. So again, I'm watching that moving average line that's going down, right? That needs to change. Yes, nice gap up. We're very happy about that. We're going to throw a little NVIDIA party, but we need a little bit more here. What else have we got there? Somebody was shouting out BAH, which is Booz Allen Hamilton. I made a video on them and saying I was thinking about shorting the bloody thing, which so far it doesn't seem like such a bad idea. I'm not recommending it, obviously, but yeah, gap down, 3 more days down some more, big volume the last 2 days. This looks pretty hideous to me. Japan, my friend, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. 250,000 subscribers, which is extraordinary. I say thank you very much to the 250,000 of you who've thought this was worth clicking a button for. You, I guess, are mad, aren't you? What else have we got? We've got TEM, Tempus. That's the Nancy I insider trade, you insider trade, we all insider trade. Nancy Pelosi. Nice gap up here. That's starting to look promising. Still below the 50-day moving average line, but only just. So it's starting to look promising again. What else we got? Kamada. I haven't looked at that one in a little while. A nice little breakout here. Got a second one, and then Trump sort of peed all over that one. So yeah, it's the same story with most stocks at the moment. We're bouncing off, but we're below the moving average line. So it isn't really enough. You see that with Microsoft. I think you see it with pretty much everything. We see it with Apple. So I don't think this is the time to buy. And people are going to be like, but no, you're missing the opportunity. That's not how it works. You want to buy in the moment where you have the least risk and the most opportunity. At the moment, you have a lot of risk because you don't know what the orange one in the White House is going to do on Tuesday. I'm not sure he knows what he's going to do on Tuesday. And therefore, this is very, 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 very risky still. So what am I going to do this week? Mostly sit on my hands, I think. Mostly sit on my hands. I think that's what I would recommend everybody does, to be honest with you. Thomas, you're a European, wants to invest in the S&P. I mean, you're going to end up buying an ETF, right? Which you can do pretty much on any broker. A lot of my Europeans use interactive brokers or Tasty. They all basically do the same thing. Just look for fees. That's really all that matters. And you're going to have access to European ETFs. So it should be pretty much anything. Why am I getting a Basil Fawlty vibe? I love Basil Fawlty. Although he got, what's the actor called? He got a bit angry, didn't he? In sort of older life. He got a bit frustrated and angry. I'm not quite sure what that's about. What else have we got here? Scarlett is worried about a pandemic. Are you worried that RFK is going to start the pandemic? Oh, I thought you were going to say you're worried Pfizer would start another pandemic. Different points of view, apparently. I'm also worried about another pandemic, but I think it's going to come from the same place it came from last time. I actually think the next thing won't be a pandemic. I think it'll be a food shortage. I think it'll be a manufactured food shortage. I think that'll be the next one to kind of keep us in line. But we'll see. What else? John Cleese, yeah, that's the one. I don't know why he got a bit angry in all the life. It's a bit of a shame. He was such a funny guy, really. AMD is still the advanced money destroyer it's always been, although it's flirting with the yellow 50-day moving average line, but it's going to need quite a bit more to get rid of all this pain. Berkshire, BRK. Almost nobody ever brings Berkshire up on this channel. Palantir Vision did a video, did he? He's a good chap. What happened to my Berkshire? Interesting. Seems like I can't open the Berkshire chart. I can open the A chart, not the B one. It's basically the same thing. Trading at $785,000, which is pretty extraordinary. Yeah, it's one of the things that actually rallied in early January because it's seen as a safe haven, right? Seen as a safe haven. PayPal, as we still call it, it's up 1.4%. Not much, but at least the brave little thing is breaking through the resistance here at $71, which is a very important line. So there's some hope there. It's a nice little gap up. It's a little early to buy, I would say, but yeah. What else have we got? Rocket Lab, RKLB. We are ones is asking if it's below the 50-day moving average line, do you think there's more chance it'll dip more? Well, a lot of the time, what happens is stock moves up, it hits the 50-day moving average line, and it bounces back down. So it's just a place where, yeah, it's a risky place to buy, basically. If you're investing in the index for the long term, then that's a little bit of a different story because the index actually goes up in the long term. And here for our real estate friend there who's throwing money around like it's 1983. wants me to look at Kavana. It's called bribery, I think, isn't it? It's not called bribery, but you're very kind, so I should look at it. And buy Winston another tennis ball or something. Although we've actually started to steal tennis balls instead. There is a, in the tennis club, there is a bin with all the old tennis balls, and he likes the old ones better than the new ones. So there we go. That's compounding for you. Yeah, it's gapping up, right? That's a good thing. But look where the 50-day moving average line sits. It's still a big gap. So I would still wait to break through that resistance. I'd wait till we break through that. And then I'd want to do that, all of that, on some bigly volume. So much bigger than what we have been. And again, if you want to understand that properly, completely for free, go and watch the masterclass down below, which will actually teach you those very rules. Here's our redacted angry friend again. RFK started a measles outbreak here. Apparently there was a 6-year-old kid who died of measles. He didn't die of measles. He died of something else, which is equally sad. But of course, it's a load of mainstream pharma-sponsored misinformation. So there you have it. We are not going to agree on this one, are you? And some more tennis balls for Winston. You think you should have some new ones, right? We might try that. So, okay, there we are. Stop throwing money in my direction. I'm not a stripper. But it is kind of you. I appreciate the sentiment with which you're doing it. Now, what else have we got there? The youngsters are playing with the wheel strategy. Yeah, it's a good place to start. It's just not where you want to end up. That's what I would say. It's a great place to start, but you want to progress from that once you've done that for a little while. Boeing, yes, got the Boeing 47 or whatever they call it contract, which is making it recover. And now, my understanding, and I'm not American and I don't know very much about defense, and I don't invest in defense stocks, generally speaking. My understanding is the way that works is that Boeing behind the scenes kind of builds and tests a plane for about 20 years. It then gets an order from the US government for a lot of those planes. So it isn't like they just sort of woke up today and thought, who's the best plane manufacturer in the world who could make our next generation of fighter pilots plane? And then they thought, must be Boeing, the people who use all the wheels and doors. No, so they've obviously been working on this probably for 20 years. So that's why that's happening. And yeah, good for Boeing shareholders and Boeing employees. What's with the Celsius crowd here? That's a bit menacing, really. So many Celsius tickers. I see. That is interesting. So what would you say is the problem with this rally? Anybody thinks that there's a problem with this rally? Let me know what you think the problem with this rally is, and I'll give you my view while my nose is rather itchy. I think I might be getting some hay fever or something here. Weird. Make Boeing great again, indeed. Scott and George, Nicholas, you guys are spot on. That's the problem with that rally. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't touch it. Look at the volume. If institutional buyers thought that Celsius was going to go up, there would be an increase in volume down here because one single institutional buyer would make that happen, and we're not seeing it. So I wouldn't touch it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, obviously. You got to come to your own conclusion. You're a grown-up of sorts. But yeah, there is just, not a lot going on here. Even on these big green candles here, volume, not that impressive. Not that impressive. So I would be cautious of this thing. By the way, who drinks Celsius? Isn't this another one of those things that just makes your stomach lining turn green or something and kills you slowly? Isn't that what this is? Make strippers great again. And no consolidation. Yeah, I mean, the consolidation phases can be longer or shorter. I mean, obviously, this one's had a very, very, very long collapse. This is actually, it's a beautiful little double top there and then a collapse. And it basically said to you, please sell here. Please, 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 young man, sell there. But no, people held on to it because they had the fridge full of the stuff. Never tasted it. I imagine, does it taste like Red Bull or something like that? That's what I would imagine. Duplex friend, you had one. Fox drinks it, does he? What does it taste of? Is it just sort of like the liquid gummy bear thing, like What was the thing I just mentioned? I used to, when I was in my early 20s, I was drinking it. Actually, I tried to drink it once before an exam, and I thought I'd remember more. Don't remember a bloody thing. Makes your head swim. I wouldn't recommend it. Now, anything else? Strippers like it. Seriously, there's a correlation between that? That's so weird. Greetings from Munich. Anna there. Hello to you. What else have we got here? I like the orange flavor. You're talking about the president, or you're talking about Celsius? NBIS. Yeah, that hasn't really gone anywhere, has it? Yeah, I got knocked out of that one, obviously. Consolidating. I mean, that's really the only positive spin I could put on this, but at the moment it isn't going anywhere. What else we got here? Like carbonated fruit flavor. It sucks. Weird. Okay. I see all the Palantir developers seem to drink it, so it must be full of caffeine, surely. NVIDIA has some sort of death cross type thing going on there. Does it? Yeah, I think it did, didn't it? It did that a while back on the 150. It just done it on the 200. Yeah, it's not good. it's not good. There's really no sugarcoating this. When these moving averages cross in this fashion downwards, it's not a good thing. Not a pretty sight. So, Jason, you drink it all the time, okay? And you're still fine. Yeah, you're not bouncing off the walls yet. Alrighty, my friends. A lot of you are asking about other stocks that we're not going to have time to run through today. So what I can say to you is you can do this on your own. It's way, way, way simpler than you think. You need two things. One, get yourself a free trial to Trade Vision, because then you have the same data and software and support lines and breakout indicators and everything else that I use. You can also see the dark pools, which is super interesting and useful. And secondly, go watch the masterclass and then look at the charts, and then watch the masterclass and look at the charts. And you do that, you're going to be in a much, much, much better place, which is exactly what I want for you. So I want to thank you for tuning in, for wishing to learn more, and for getting better and better and better. Consider hitting that little subscribe button, like 250,000 of you have, which is extraordinary. Just think about, try picturing 250,000 people. I'm not quite sure how you can do that. How much is a football stadium? Like 80,000, right? It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. So yes, thank you for tuning in, and be careful out there this week. This is a week where you want to protect your money. It's not a week where you want to throw your money at things, because you don't know yet what's going to happen on the 2nd of April, the Freedom Day, or Make America Free Again, or Tariffed Again, or whatever he calls it. And it could be very, very volatile. So be careful out there, and thanks for tuning in. Somebody wants to know the doctor in London. It's a TCM doctor. It's, crikey, somewhere in North London. I can't quite remember where. Just look for a TCM doctor. They should all be able to do pretty much the same things. I'd avoid the ones in Chinatown nowadays. I think there is a lot of charlatans out there. Look for one